What is up, everyone? Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Football Friday. Great to have Travis here. Danny should be somewhere on. I don't know where he's at right now, but for have you guys for a little bit anyways, and then I'll finish the rest of the show up. But how are you doing, Travis?
Doing all right.
Yeah, wearing my hockey stuff. Big game today in Philadelphia at 5:30. So be watching that during the show. Got a lot of games going on right now. We got UNC currently down to an NC State 14-10. Arizona State winning the Battle of Arizona right now 14-10 over the Wildcats at halftime. Got a good one in Columbia, Missouri, Arkansas up 21-20. On Mizzou, Colorado State up 7-0 on New Mexico at halftime. 10-0. Nebraska looking to play well for their possible new head coach, looking to finalize that deal, get you caught up on who that is. And then number 18 UCLA up 7-0 on Cal right now. The Nebraska thing's big, though. Iowa looking to clinch the Big Ten West. If they cannot win, Purdue has life. But yeah, we'll get you caught up on that. We did have some games, some other games this week, starting out on Tuesday. Miami, Ohio, 18-17 win over Ball State. The Red Hawks. It was quite a game. I watched this one. They were down 17 to 3, I believe it was, or 17-6, something like that. They scored 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter. Yeah, they were down 14-3, 17-3. And they came back and won in the fourth quarter, getting 15 straight unanswered points to become bowl eligible, go to the Bahamas bowl game there. Ball State season is over. Avion Smith, not great passing, 18 of 46, 39.1%, 217, 1 touchdown, a pick. But on the ground, he was great, 18 carries, 84 yards, a touchdown. Ball State's John Paddock, 19 of 32, 59.4%, 119 yards, 2 picks, killed them in that regard. And then Kyle Kelly, he threw 1 pass for 23 yards and had 8 carries for 83 yards there. So, yeah, good win for the Red Hawks. Get to go to the Bahamas for the bowl game. Nice. Always nice to go there.
Carson Steele was running really nice too.
Oh, I love Carson Steele, man. He's one of my MAC running backs that I look for every year. 26 carries, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. 6 receptions for 35 yards, led the game in rushing there. Mac Hippenhammer for the Red Hawks there, 6 catches, 79 yards, leading the game in receiving. And my defensive player of the game, I'm going to go with Miami, Ohio's defensive lineman, Caden Woolard. 2 tackles, 1 solo, 1 pass deflection, 2 QB hurries. Ball State lost, but they did cover, though, plus 2.5, under 45. The other game on Tuesday, Maction, Ohio, rolling over Bowling Green to win the MAC East, go to Detroit to play Toledo in the MAC championship game next weekend. But Matt McDonald for Bowling Green, 16 of 29, 55.2%, 217 yards, 1 touchdown. The turnovers killed Bowling Green, though, all night. 3 picks and a fumble for Matt McDonald. That was really where they lost it. But their other quarterback came in, Camden Orth, 2 of 3, 66.7%, 12 yards, 2 carries, 27 yards, and he did score a rushing touchdown. But CJ Harris was fantastic. Curtis Rourke, the normal Bobcat starter, he was out with injury, out for the season. So CJ Harris took the reins, 10 of 21, 47.6%, 196 yards, a touchdown passing. On the ground, he was great, 12 carries, 65 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. Bobcats, big win on this one. Ohio running back C.A. Bangura has been helping them out with this great season they're having. 27 carries, 96 yards, a touchdown, leading the game in rushing. And Ohio wide receiver Jacoby Jones, leading receiver in this one, 4 catches, 96 yards. Defensively, a lot of good performances. I am going to go with Ohio linebacker Key Thompson, though. 11 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 2 QB hurries, 2 picks for safety Tariq Drake for the Bobcats. Also a very good night there. Ohio covered -5.5, under 52.5. Let's go to the Egg Bowl. Last night, annual Thanksgiving tradition, Mississippi State, Mike Leach, the Pirate, getting it done in Oxford, Mississippi, 24-22 over number 20, Ole Miss. His first win in the series. So good for Mike Leach there. And then the rumors were swirling apparently about Lane Kiffin last night after the loss, saying that he might go to Auburn, but he kind of crushed those rumors there post game. But a lot of yards and turnovers here. Crazy game at the end though. Ole Miss was looking like they were going to get blown out. Mississippi State had first and goal on the 1 yard line of Ole Miss, or close enough, whatever. But yeah, Will Rogers fumbles, allows Ole Miss to go down, score a touchdown. They missed the 2-point conversion, game over after the onside kick is not recovered by the Rebels. But Jackson Dart for Ole Miss, 30 of 38, 78.9%, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. Will Rogers for the Bulldogs, 27 of 39, 69.2%, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick and 2 fumbles. Turnovers, really the reason why Ole Miss was staying in this game. Otherwise, it would have been a blowout there. But yeah, Egg Bowl, always a good time.
I don't know. I think Lane Kiffin's just trying to play it cool. I think he's going to go to Auburn.
Maybe. We shall see. I don't know. The true freshman sensation running back Quinshon Judkins for Ole Miss, 22 carries, 91 yards, leading the game in rushing, 1 catch for 4 yards, and he also threw a pass for 7 yards as well. Leading receiver in the game, Ole Miss wide receiver Dayton Wade, 8 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. And then a whole host of great defensive performances. I am going to go with the bottom guy, though, Ole Miss defensive end Tavius Robinson, 5 tackles, 2 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 QB hurry. Mississippi State +2.5. Under 63. Yeah, it was kind of weird that it wasn't the normal high scoring affair in the Egg Bowl this year. Don't know what's going on, but number 19 Tulane. What a win today, 27-24 over number 24, Cincinnati. They advanced to the American Championship game. Still waiting to see who their opponent will be, whether it will be UCF, who plays.
Sorry, having a little trouble.
We'll have to wait and see who Tulane's opponent is. As UCF plays tomorrow against USF. And then if UCF wins and Houston loses, then UCF would be in. But if Houston wins and UCF wins, then we have a 3-way tie for second place between Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston. And then it becomes a whole complicated mess, and I don't know who gets in at that point. But if there's one other scenario where Cincinnati would get in without having to go through that mess. It's both UCF and Houston both lose tomorrow. UCF against USF, Houston playing Tulsa. So unlikely, but yeah, just gotta keep winning if you're those two teams. But yeah, I was happy Tulane. I've been riding Tulane all year. I was disappointed they lost to UCF a couple weeks, 2 weeks ago, but got the win here. Going to host the AAC championship game. Michael Pratt for the Green Wave, 13 to 22, 59.1%, 162 yards, a touchdown, 9 carries for 30 yards. Cincinnati quarterback Evan Prater playing today because Ben Bryant was injured. 10 of 26, 38.5% completion, 102 yards, a pick, 18 carries, 83 yards. But the story of the day was running back Tajay Spears. He has been the monster for the Green Wave. 35 carries, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 17-yard reception. Really nice day for Spears, one of my favorite players in the American Conference there. Ryan Montgomery, running back for Cincinnati, also scoring twice on this game. 17 carries, 95 yards for him. Leading receiver in this one, Tulane wide receiver Shea Wyatt, 3 catches, 62 yards. And wasn't much defensively, so I'm going to go with the bottom guy there, Tulane linebacker Keith Cooper Jr., 5 tackles, 1 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and a QB hurry. Tulane covered -1 over 44. How about number 23, Texas, keeping their Big 12 hopes alive. 38-27 romp over Baylor. It looked a little eerie for the Longhorns in the middle of this game, but they got it done. Behind number 5, Bijan Robinson went crazy again. 29 carries, 179 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. The quarterbacks weren't that great. Quinn Ewers pretty efficient, though, for Texas. 12 of 16, 75%, 194 yards. 1 rushing touchdown and a fumble that led to a Baylor defensive touchdown there. Baylor's quarterback Blake Shapen was not good. 18 of 36, 50%, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. But it was the ground game, like I said, for Texas. Robinson, Rashawn Johnson, he had 13 carries, 77 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns as well. Texas ran for 204 total yards because of the stupid college rule that counts sack yardage as rushing yardage. It's a stupid rule. You gotta take that out of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now if Texas is the biggest Kansas fans in the world right now. They are praying for a Kansas win. If Kansas can win in the Sunflower Showdown against Kansas State in Manhattan, Kansas, Texas will face TCU in the Big 12 championship game. I think that would be big for Sark in his first year there.
Oh, most definitely. Give him a big boost. Hopefully help on the recruiting trail a little bit.
Yeah. Leading receiver in this one, Texas tight end Jatavian Sanders, 2 catches, 65 yards. And then a lot of great defensive performances here. I think I'm going to go with Texas linebacker Jalen Ford, 13 tackles, 2 solos, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection, 1 QB hurry, and a pick. Also got to give it to, I'm impartial to defensive touchdowns. So Baylor defensive lineman Gabe Hall, 4 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and a 16-yard fumble returned for a touchdown. Big man rolling there.
Always love to see that.
Texas did cover -10 by 1 there and over 55.5. So like I said, we were going to cover the NC State game and the Arkansas game, but I saw they weren't going to even be close to being done by the time we finished the show. So Nebraska 17-0 now on Iowa. Don't know what's happening to the Hawkeye defense today, but sure. Monday Night Football, though, Niners killing the Cardinals 38-10 in Mexico City. A little bit rainy in this one. Jimmy G was fantastic, though. 20 of 29, 69%, 228 yards, 4 touchdowns. Colt McCoy got the start in the place of Kyler Murray. 24 of 34, 70.6%, 218 yards a pick. And then he got injured, so Trace McSorley came in 6 of 10, 60%, 59 yards, and an interception as well. The Niners look pretty unbeatable at this point with Christian McCaffrey in the fold. Jimmy G's rolling. Defense playing well.
They look like they're going to be the team to beat for the Super Bowl this year.
Until they come into Philly.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll have Jordan Davis back by then. So,
Oh, yeah.
Which would be in the playoffs. It'd have to be in the playoffs because we don't play in the regular season. But Elijah Mitchell led the game in rushing, 9 carries, 59 yards. I didn't put Christian McCaffrey on here because he didn't lead the game in or his team in any category, but he did have a good night total scrimmage yards wise. I was pissed. Greg Dortch led the game in receiving, 9 catches, 103 yards, 10 targets, right? So I had Marquise Brown in my one dynasty league. I thought he was going to play. So I originally started him. I had taken him off IR or was going to start him. I thought he was going to get activated for the game. Ended up not getting activated. So I was scrambling pregame Monday, trying to find out which receiver I was going to play. Greg Dortch was the top projected free agent for this game and did not start him, did not pick him up.
Oof.
I was like, well, there's other guys. They have AJ Green, Hopkins.
I mean, you had D-Hop in our league, so.
And so I picked up Dwan Jennings instead.
Oh, well.
I think he got 1 reception.
Big money.
Yeah. Could have had 19 freaking points from Dortch. But yeah, 9 catches, 103 yards, 10 targets there. D-Hop, 9 for 91 on 12 targets as well. Defensively, have to go with Nick Bosa. Who else? Niners defensive end. 3 tackles, all of them solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 4 QB hits there. Yeah. Bosa's a beast.
Yeah, he is. I hate to say that with him being from Ohio State.
Yeah, and the okay, well, that is not official yet, I guess. I'm just looking at the ESPN halftime thing saying about Nebraska's head coach. But yeah, Niners taking the division lead now in the NFC West over the Seahawks, both 6-4. Niners 3-0 in division play, though. Niners covered easily -9.5 over 43. Thanksgiving yesterday, Bills beating the Lions in Detroit 28-25. First time since I think they said, what was it, like 1926 or something like that, where all games on Thanksgiving were within 1 score.
Did not know that. Did not see that.
It was like something crazy like that.
Jeez.
It's been a long time since all of the games on Thanksgiving have been 1 score. But yeah, Josh Allen, fantastic. 24-42, 57.1%, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns a pick, 10 carries, 78 yards, a touchdown. And I mean, the essentially game-winning throw to Stephon Diggs was just incredible.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, whatever adjective you want to insert.
There was 3 defenders within 5 yards of Stephon. Just
yeah, he just lined it in there. And it was the Stephon Diggs drive as well to put the Bills to tie the game.
Yeah.
Stephon caught like 4 or 5 on that drive that got the game tied there at 25. But Yeah, Jared Goff played well though. 23 of 37, 62.2%, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I mean the Detroit defense was pretty decent for most of the day. I think holding the Bills under 30 points is a quality performance.
Yeah, especially for a 4-7 team that was expected to come in and just get rolled.
Yeah. Devin Singletary, the Bills ran the ball well once again. Granted, the Lions are one of the worst rush defenses in the league, but 14 carries, 72 yards for Singletary, leading all non-Josh Allen runners on the day. 1 reception for 8 yards for him. Jamal Williams continues to be just a touchdown monster. 13 on the year now. He has as many touchdowns now in one season with the Lions, or this season with the Lions. I guess this is his second year, right?
Yeah.
This season with the Lions, though, he has he has as many touchdowns as he did in all 5 years with the Packers.
I saw that. That's the Packers could use that a little bit right now. Get him on the outside.
Yeah. Amon-Ra St. Brown, what a day for him. The Detroit receiver, 9 catches, 122 yards, a touchdown on 10 targets. Bills wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie also had a nice day. 6 catches, 98 yards, a touchdown on 10 targets. And then we mentioned Stephon Diggs, 8 catches, 77 yards, a touchdown on 15 targets in this game. And defensively, I'm going to go with Lions linebacker James Houston. 2 tackles, both of them solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits.
Didn't he just get elevated?
I believe so. I had never heard of him. So, like, yeah. If I have never heard of you, like, that's tough on your part. But I know a lot of players.
Yeah.
But Lions covered plus 9.5, under 55. The afternoon game here, Cowboys 28-20 over the Giants. And I mean, the Giants had them. They had them right where they wanted them. I don't know what they were doing, but Saquon wasn't involved enough again for the second straight game. The Giants dropping 2 in a row now. Luckily, he scored, as we talked pre-show. Otherwise, his fantasy performance would have been under 10 points. But yeah, it's Giants are dipping at the wrong time for them anyways. I mean, I don't really care. They can go do whatever. I was hoping they would help me out and beat the Cowboys, but
yeah, I mean, unfortunately for the Giants, Dallas is just too good in the run defense. Just basically Saquon hitting a brick wall, and what are you gonna do?
well, yeah, and they the Giants have absolutely no receivers right now.
Yeah, and their interior line isn't holding up very well either. So
yeah. But Dak Prescott, 21 of 30, 70%, 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, helped keep the Giants in the game in the first half. Daniel Jones, 21 of 35, 60%, 228 yards, a touchdown, 3 carries, 14 yards. Yeah. Zeke is frustrating in fantasy once again. 16 carries, 92 yards, a touchdown, 1 catch for 3 yards. He's been on my bench pretty much all year in my dynasty league that I've had him since the inception of that dynasty league when I got him in 2016. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't start him. Like I mean, I guess he can now. It'll be back to back. He scored 17 something last week, 16 plus this week.
yeah, it's just hard, have a couple good weeks and they dip and you feel like you made a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's critical time now. Push to the playoffs as our Facebook logo shows. CD Lamb for the Cowboys led the game in receiving, 6 catches, 106 yards, 11 targets for him. Also, another guy on my bench this week. I started him last week. He didn't do much. Didn't start him this week in my Dynasty League. Cowboys tight end Dalton Schultz, 4 catches, 31 yards. Of course, he scores 2 touchdowns this week on 4 targets. That was fun. But defensively, how can you not go with the beast? Cowboys linebacker Micah Parsons, 3 tackles, 2 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. Everywhere.
That dude is just a menace.
Given the defensive player of the year right now.
Yeah.
Put him in the MVP vote.
He's honestly, he's coming for Aaron Donald's spot.
Yeah. There's going to be an asterisk, though, because TJ Watt got injured. So, and look at the performance the Steelers defense has now with Watt back.
Yeah.
1-1, but Giants cover +10 over 45.5. And the Thanksgiving nightcap here, Vikings 33-26 over the Patriots. I was rooting for the Patriots. Help me out, get a 2-game gap for the Eagles, but couldn't help me out. Belichick, unfortunately. Mac Jones, though, 28 of 39, 71.8%, 382 yards, 2 touchdowns. Watching the game, it didn't feel like Mac threw for that many yards, but I guess they had a couple big plays that got a lot of his yards. But
yeah.
Kirk Cousins there for the Vikings, 30 of 37, 81.1% Sterling completion percentage there. 299 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick. And it was Justin Jefferson. I mean, man's unbelievable. 9 receptions, 139 yards, touchdown on 11 targets. I was disappointed. Dalvin Cook sucked. 22 carries, 42 yards, led the game in rushing, 4 catches, 14 yards on 5 targets. Ramondre Stevenson for Damian Harris going down. The Patriots barely ran the ball. 7 carries, 36 yards for him, but he got most of his fantasy points there. 9 catches, 76 yards on 10 targets. Who would have thought Stevenson getting 10 targets in the passing game? And then Thielen also getting double-digit targets here. 9 catches, 61 yards, a touchdown on 11 targets for Adam Thielen. I was happy, though, my boy Hawk scored again. Or scored, I guess, for the first time as a Viking, has had great performances in his 3 games in Minnesota. And then defensively, got to go with Patriots corner Jonathan Jones, 7 tackles, 6 solos, 3 pass deflections, a pick. Also want to mention Vikings running back Kene Nwangwu, 97-yard kick return touchdown, really sparked Minnesota. And also, he is the only player with multiple kick return touchdowns since 2021. The kid's turning into he's gunning for Cordarrelle's record already. He already has 3 kick return touchdowns in his career.
How many? What year is this kid in?
Second.
Yeah. Jesus.
I believe he was a 2021 5th round selection.
Okay.
Out of Iowa State. Vikings covered -2.5 over 41.5. So some college football news here. Just want to mention the transfer portal opens December 5th. So coming up in a little bit. Daniel Jeremiah tweeted this out and he said it's going to be crazy. I guess, I don't know. I thought it was always crazy since they instituted the transfer portal, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. I don't really pay too much attention to it until get into preseason. Looking at the teams, I don't really pay much attention to spring ball. But yeah, portal opens 12-5. Your boys. Well, your boys got attacked, but
Yeah.
7 Michigan State players have been charged. One of them facing a felony charge for the assault that happened in the tunnel on 2 Michigan players following their game on October 29th. Yeah, which is kind of crazy. See, what was kind of weird, like the video, you only saw like 2 guys and one of the Michigan players, but
Yeah.
apparently there were 7. That I don't know.
No, there was 10. That was original. The original report was there was 10 Michigan State players,
Yeah.
and then 7 of them ended up. I think no, I think was it 10 of them got put on leave or suspended. So
5.
there was only 5.
I believe it's 5.
So I wonder if the 2 additional ones will get suspended. And at this point, the one with the felony charge, do you just dismiss him from the program at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to, but I think it depends who it is. That's always the thing that happens. You know, it happens.
Yeah,
It's
for
I mean,
better.
also, I had never heard of any of the guys that I heard of that got suspended.
No.
So it's also a thing of that I think about, which is probably the conspiracy theorist in me, but like they're just putting guys that are on the bottom of the roster out to the sharks, like they're just feeding them to the wolves because they're not major contributors and they're not. Some of them might not even be on scholarship, so.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think a couple of them aren't. So I don't know. Michigan. I don't want to be that guy, but Michigan State, not always the highest standard of sportsmanship.
Yeah. Well, Mel Tucker's got to figure it out. I don't think his tenure is going to be lasting much longer, anyways.
I would say not, except for the fact that he has a $95 million contract.
Yeah.
And Michigan State doesn't have them SEC donors that can shell out for.
Get that buyout in there. Also, last thing, college football news. The thing I've been referencing with the Nebraska game going on right now, who are currently up 17-0 at halftime over Iowa. That's in Iowa City too, by the way, in Kinnick Stadium, which is just ridiculous. You don't go into Kinnick Stadium and do that to Iowa.
No.
but yeah, Nebraska looks like they are going to have their new head coach. Scott Frost fired this season, and they're getting a guy that was fired this season also. The Huskers are looking to possibly finalize a deal with former Panthers head coach Matt Rule to become their next head coach. So, I mean, I think that's a pretty good hire. Despite Rule's flame out in the NFL, I mean, his track record in college football is sterling, building up Temple and Baylor, losing programs. So,
I mean, going from. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Luckily for him, Nebraska plays in the Big Ten West.
Yeah, you don't have a whole lot of competition there.
Yeah.
But I mean, going from NCAA to NFL, I mean, we've seen how Nick Saban, great, national championship winning coach in the NCAA, goes to the NFL, quickly flames out. So I wouldn't, put a whole lot of give a whole lot of thought to his flame out in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jim Harbaugh's really the only one that we've seen be very successful in the NFL going from college.
Yeah. Well, I'd say Pete Carroll, but yeah, it's very few.
Right, yeah. Um, NFL news though, we got a lot of quarterback movement this week. It's been kind of crazy. A couple benchings. Jets, first one. They are benching number 2 overall pick Zach Wilson. Starting Mike White this year. Apparently, Zach Wilson has had the case of the yips. that's what they've been saying on Twitter. The last 2 games, especially against the Patriots last week, they're only scoring 3 points on offense. But yeah, Mike White, the guy, I was kind of surprised they didn't look towards Joe Flacco. But yeah, they're going to go with Mike White apparently this week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, going with Joe Flacco, you might as well find out what you have for a week.
Yeah.
I feel not in totality, but I think part of this in the benching is Zach Wilson's response in the press conference saying that he didn't really play a role in the defeat of only scoring 3 points.
Yeah, I did see that too. That's a tough look.
Yeah, got to send a message that you got to have a camaraderie, and having a player like that do that isn't a good look for your team.
Also getting benched is Davis Mills, former 3rd round pick of the Texans. Kyle Allen resurfacing this week. He will be the starter for Lovie Smith and the Texans in Miami. I don't really think it matters who they have at quarterback. The Texans are going to lose against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
As 14-point underdogs. The Eagles, they have hired former Colts offensive coordinator Marcus Brady as a consultant. Of course, that makes a lot of sense. Nick Sirianni, coming from Indianapolis last year, good friends with Marcus Brady. I also thought they were eventually going to hire Frank Reich as well. That hasn't occurred yet, but I know Nick Sirianni has high regard for Frank Reich. So interested to see if Reich comes back to Philadelphia or not on Sirianni's staff in the future. And then what else could go wrong for the Packers? Their 3rd round pick this year, offensive lineman Sean Ryan out of UCLA. He has been suspended for the next 6 games because of violating the performance enhancing substance policy. So yeah, another offensive lineman going down for Green Bay. Some IR activations this week. Commanders getting their backup quarterback now back. Carson Wentz activated off IR, opening his practice window. Going to back up Taylor Heineke as they move forward with him. The Ravens getting a lot of help with their big free agent signing. Safety Marcus Williams activated off IR. And a lot of help coming for the Saints as well. They're getting rookie offensive tackle Trevor Penning back this week as well. Couple guys placed on IR. Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire with a high ankle sprain, out 4 games. And Commanders linebacker Cole Holcomb also placed on IR today. I don't like to see guys get injured, but it does benefit me greatly because I just traded for Isaiah Pacheco. So thank you, CEH. Some injuries here. The Bears quarterback Justin Fields, he has a separated shoulder with partially torn ligaments in his non-throwing shoulder, which is always fun to deal with. He's officially listed as questionable. I think he'll play probably.
Do they limit his running ability though now? Are you gonna try and put more wear and tear on that?
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know if it's like the same thing as a dislocation. Because I would just think that they would do what the Vikings do with Dalvin Cook. but he dislocated his shoulder in that game. You just put a brace on it, and it stabilizes it enough that you can play through it. But yeah, definitely got to hit guys with your right shoulder instead. He doesn't need his right shoulder anyways, dude. He doesn't throw the ball.
No.
I said there's a lot of quarterback news because Cards quarterback Kyler Murray is going to be back this week. Happy to see that with DeAndre Hopkins, even though D-Hop is questionable, unfortunately, but I think he'll be fine. He played last week, but he's questionable with hamstring. So, but yeah, Kyler's back this week. We'll see if that helps or hurts the Cardinals. I don't really know at this point. I'm not sure that Colt McCoy wasn't a better option.
Yeah.
Saints corner Marshawn Lattimore. He has been dealing with a lacerated kidney. He was back at practice today or this week. So not sure. I don't think he's going to play this week, but we'll see about next week, possibly. Bad news for the Rams. Defensive tackle Ashawn Robinson out for the year. He has a torn meniscus. Interesting thing happening this week. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers announcing he has a broken thumb and not going to get surgery, doesn't require surgery. For one, I don't understand how a broken thumb doesn't require surgery. Actually, not really. It depends where it's broken, obviously, but
Is it on his throwing hand?
it is, yes.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, that's why he has been very inaccurate. Or that's the excuse that Rodgers is putting out there anyways on why the Packers are losing and he's inaccurate. That's what I called it anyways. I called it an excuse.
Yeah. I mean, their season, a broken thumb isn't the reason why you're having this bad of a season.
Yeah. Lions might get a boost next week. Wide receiver Jameson Williams could possibly debut for his first game in the NFL, coming off the torn ACL in the SEC championship game last season. Yeah, they activated him last week they opened his practice window coming off of NFI, but we'll see if he can play next week. Trying to get the Lions in the playoffs.
Yeah. And if we can get a couple more Vikings losses, we'll be right in it.
The Bills, also major injury for them yesterday. Von Miller getting carted off. He has a lateral meniscus tear, out indefinitely right now. Going to make a decision in 1 to 2 weeks on whether he's going to do surgery now or try to see if he can hold off for the off season. He's going to try to put it off. Just got to see how the swelling goes and see if he can just put a brace on it. Unfortunately for him, though, it is in the same knee that he tore his ACL. So not sure if that's going to complicate things or not, or impact the decision there for Vaughn. But yeah, that's major loss for Buffalo.
Yeah. I mean, that's a hard loss, but at least yesterday, looked the way they carted him off, it looked like he might have torn something. So at least there's that.
Yeah, they were relieved it wasn't an ACL for sure. Ins and outs, Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford. He is out. It will be Bryce Perkins starting in Kansas City this week. The Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney, he is out. So again, I'm happy that I have MVS in a league, so hopefully he should get more targets. He didn't last time, when all the receivers were out for Kansas City. Freaking Sky Moore took all the targets, but yeah. Bucks running back Leonard Fournette, he is doubtful with a hip injury this week. So look for Rashad White to get the start and the bulk of the carries. That one's not good for me. I do have Lenny starting in one of my leagues. Chargers wide receiver Mike Williams, he is out this week again after he re-aggravated his ankle last week or 2 weeks ago. And then Dolphins running back Raheem Mostert, doubtful. Another injury that helps me though in fantasy. I have Wilson, Jeff Wilson Jr. starting in a league, and then also another running back injury helping me. Bengals running back Joe Mixon is out.
Yep.
Just picked up Samaje Perine this week. Gonna be a tough test against the Titans, but he's projected to get 13 points, so I'm praying for it. And wide receiver Jamar Chase is questionable. I know Joe Burrow said he expects to have him back this week. And then finally, Commanders defensive end Chase Young is questionable, trying to make his 2022 debut coming off the torn ACL last year. And then transaction-wise, just one transaction to note. The Jags claimed former Rams running back Darrell Henderson Jr. off waivers, so landing on his feet in Jacksonville, trying to help them be the backup to Travis Etienne there. College pick standings. Yeah, I suck. Continue to suck. Mark, though, taking the lead. He had a great day or great week last week. Lone Wolves galore for Mark. He got Duke wrong. They lost to Pitt. He got Louisville wrong. They lost to Clemson, I believe was that game. But he got Iowa right. They beat Minnesota. He got Arkansas. Arkansas beat Ole Miss. Oklahoma beat Oklahoma State, and Oregon beat Utah. So he went 4-2 in Lone Wolves. Luckily, I went 1-0 in mine. I got USC right, beating UCLA. And then Logan went 0-2 in his. He lost Baylor. Baylor lost to TCU. And then Richmond in our FCS game of the week lost to William and Mary last week. So yeah, I'm still a lot back, 16. And then Logan is 6 back now of Mark. Just couple last week, the regular season championship Saturday next week, and then bowl games to pick coming up. So the Heroes game going on right now, not looking good for our picks. Iowa currently down 17-0, about to kick off the second half. But we need a Hawkeye comeback for our picks, and for our guy Colin Schultz there at Marquette Law School. He texted me. He said Hawkeye's bad. But yeah, they are not looking good right now. See what that defense can do in the second half. 10.5 point favorites are the Hawkeyes at home, currently down 17-0. Over under for that game is 38 though, and they're well on their way to looking at the over. And that one is on Big Ten Network currently. Number 18 UCLA at Cal. That one's going on. Cal actually just took a 14-10 lead over UCLA. Travis just dipping out without saying anything. But yeah, Cal take the lead over UCLA right now. This one's on Fox currently. I think the Bruins should be able to come back with this one. DTR and the offense need to get it going to try to improve their bowl bowl status there. Trying to get the best bowl they can. We are all on UCLA, though. Over under is 62. They're at 24 right now, so I don't know if they'll get to that. I'm going to say hit that under there. And like I said, that one's on Fox currently. The Sunshine Showdown tonight. Florida at number 16, Florida State. Logan surprisingly lone wolfing the Gators on the road in Tallahassee. Yeah, I just think I'm going to go with my boy Fernando at Marquette there. Mark and I going with the Seminoles. They're on fire right now. Jordan Travis has it rolling, as does that running game with guys like Trey Benson there. Trey Benson, Trayshawn Ward as well. Those guys have it rolling on the ground. Florida's not that good against the run, so I expect the Seminoles to run the ball a lot and use the play action with Jordan Travis, and they should get this thing done and put Billy Napier's Gators down to a 500 record going into bowl season. Over under for this game is 58. I am rolling with the over, I think, in that one. And then 7:30 on ABC tonight. Good game in the Mountain West. Fresno State's last regular season game before they face Boise State next week in the Mountain West Championship game. Wyoming trying to lick their wounds after losing to Boise State at home last week, trying to get a quality win over Fresno to get to 8 wins going into bowl season. But we are all on the Bulldogs. I think Jake Haener has been a revelation coming off of injury this season. Fresno was really down, and he just came in and lit their world on fire. 16 touchdowns, 3 interceptions after they started the season off 1-4. Have currently won 6 straight, including massive wins over San Jose State, San Diego State, and looking to get another big win tonight against a quality opponent, and then head to the Mountain West Championship game, which is going to be in Boise, Idaho, there on the blue turf. But yeah, roll with Jake Haener and the Dogs. Over under is 50.5. I think I'm going to go with the under in this game. Might be a little cold in Fresno, California. I don't know. Maybe not. Looks like 59. So decently cold for California there. 10 p.m. though on FS1. Oh, and by the way, before we get to Saturday's games tomorrow, got the American flag logo behind me. Go USA. Good draw today against England. Just got to get the win against Iran on Tuesday, and we will advance. So great job today. It was a good game. Get that win on Tuesday, boys. All right, tomorrow, starting off at 12 Eastern, a clean, old-fashioned hate. Georgia Tech at number 1, Georgia. Rivalry game here. Not much of a rivalry, though, in recent history. Georgia, 35.5-point favorites. I don't think they're going to cover that. They haven't covered big spreads all year. Tech surprising last week, keeping their bowl hopes alive against North Carolina, upsetting them. They're not going to upset Georgia in Athens, though. Not going to happen. Georgia gets the win, gets it big, but I just don't like the big spread there. Over under here is 49. I think that goes over. And this one's 12 p.m. on ESPN. The game, number 3, Michigan at number 2, Ohio State. Sorry, Travis. We are all picking Ohio State. I just think the Buckeyes are the better team overall. I don't know what the status of Blake Corum is. I just don't think Michigan can handle the game without him if he doesn't play. And even if he does, I'm not sure he's going to be 100%. So I think even with Travion Henderson being dinged up a little bit, and also Mayan Williams being out, I just think Ohio State has more weapons and the depth to go against Michigan's offense there. And Stroud's obviously the better quarterback. So Ohio State wins this one for us. Over under 56. I am going to go over on that one. 12 p.m. on Fox. Big noon kickoff. The Palmetto Bowl, South Carolina at number 8, Clemson, and Logan shocking us again, just like he did with the Gators, going with another SEC team against an ACC school. South Carolina, massive upset last week, scoring 63 on Tennessee to get the win. I don't think Spencer Rattler can replicate that performance in this game. Clemson has a really good defense, and I think that their win streak continues at home. They get their 41st consecutive home win, most in college football, the longest active streak in college football right now. So yeah, I just think they continue to win at home. I've tried to go against them at home before. It hasn't worked out for me, so I'm a roll with the Tigers at home here. Over under is 52.5. Give me the over, actually, in that one. 12 p.m. ABC. Army, they still have bowl dreams as well. Got a win against UMass this week, win against Navy next week, and they will be or win against Navy in 2 weeks, I should say. 2 weeks against Navy there. But Army still has bowl hopes and dreams, so they need a win this week and then beat Navy in 2 weeks to get to 6-6 there and get into a bowl game. But UMass on the road, not going to give up much of a fight, I don't think, anyways. Army should get to 5-6 and then hang on for that Navy game to see if they can go bowling or not. Over under here is 45. I'm rolling with the under, and 12 p.m. ESPN Plus. Yes, sir. Go Pens. 1-0 against the Flyers. Okay, we got Coastal Carolina at James Madison. This is quite the game. I think it's going to be anyways. JMU was surprising, I think, 14-point favorite here at home in Harrisonburg, Virginia. The reason being no Grayson McCall for Coastal Carolina. I think it's going to be a great game. I am lone wolfing the JMU Dukes in this one. If this were in Myrtle Beach, I think I'd probably go with Coastal, but it's not. It's in Harrisonburg, so give me James Madison. And unfortunately, this game does not have any Sun Belt Championship implications because JMU is ineligible in their first season of FBS play. So, yeah, sucks, man. James, I was really hoping to see JMU in the Sun Belt Championship game, though. But Coastal will be there next week against either South Alabama or Troy. Over under is 53. Give me the over in that game. And 12 p.m. ESPNU. Speaking of South Alabama, Old Dominion on the road at South Alabama in Mobile. USA getting 15.5 points at home. I think they'll win this game here. I've been on the Jags all season. Just don't know if they're going to get enough help to get from Arkansas State to get into the Sun Belt Championship game or not. But all in all, getting a 10-win season in the Sun Belt, great year for South Alabama. Over-under is 48. Give me the under. Don't think ODU scores enough for this to go over that. And 12 p.m. ESPN Plus. Western Kentucky at FAU. Western Kentucky still in the Conference USA hunt. They need a win and a North Texas loss to go to San Antonio to play UTSA in the Alamo Dome. The Hilltoppers getting 7.5 points on the road. FAU The Owls trying to become bowl eligible. Great matchup here. I think the Hilltoppers get it. Austin Reed has been has been a great performer for Western Kentucky this year, coming from Division II, West Florida there. And I think Western Kentucky will be able to get it done behind the arm of Reed. And hope and pray that they can make the Conference USA Championship game. Over under is 61. Give me the over in that game. 12 p.m. CBS Sportsnet. Maction, Kent State at Buffalo. Buffalo trying to become bowl eligible here. Bulls getting 4 at home. They have a game rescheduled that was postponed because of the snowstorm with Akron next week. So if they can't get it done against Kent this week, they'll host Akron next week and try to become bowl eligible then. But I think, and so do my colleagues, that Buffalo will become bowl eligible this week and just get a 7th win next week against Akron to boost their bowl status there. But give us the Bulls at home. I like the points as well. Buffalo becomes bowl eligible. Over under is 53. Give me the under in that game. 1 p.m. ESPN Plus. Rice at North Texas, and I think Western Kentucky will get to the Conference USA Championship game. I don't know what it is about this game. The Owls are on the road at North Texas trying to become bowl eligible for the first time in quite a while. I don't know the last time Rice was bowl eligible, but I can't. I don't know if I've ever seen Rice become bowl eligible in my time watching college football. But this is a gut thing for me. They're 14-point dogs on the road. Give me the Owls. Rice gets it done against North Texas, sends them packing to their bowl game and not to San Antonio for the Conference USA Championship. Lone Wolf in it here. Over under 59. Give me the over in that game. 2 p.m. ESPN Plus. The Governor's Cup, number 25, Louisville at Kentucky. I am lone wolfing Brock Doman and the Louisville Cardinals. Not sure what has happened to Malik Cunningham, but they've been winning the games with Doman, and they've been doing just fine. They're only 3-point dogs here. 2.5, actually, it has moved down to, or no, 3. It is 3. So, Louisville has won 5 of 6 games coming into this one. They have not beaten Kentucky since 2017, however. Kentucky not on a good streak right now, losing 5 of their last 7. But Malik Cunningham looks like he could possibly start in this one, or Brock Doman. Not sure which one it's going to be, but I think it doesn't matter either way. Louisville gets it done. I think Kentucky's just on a downslide right now, and they're not going to be able to fix it. Give me Louisville. Scott Satterfield gets it done in Lexington. Over under is 43. Give me the over in that one. 3 p.m. SEC Network. The Iron Bowl, Auburn trying to become bowl eligible under interim head coach Cadillac Williams in Tuscaloosa at number 7, Alabama. The Tide getting 22 points at home. I think this will be one of the worst Iron Bowls in recent history. Auburn, I just don't think they have much of a fight here. So give me Alabama, and we're all on the Crimson Tide in this one. Looking for a New Year's 6 bid, or the Tide. Over under is 49.5. Give me the over in that game. 3:30 SEC on CBS. Civil War, number 9, Oregon at number 23, Oregon State. I'm lone wolfing again. I have been on the Beavers all year. Going to Corvallis is not a easy thing to get a win there. And the Beavers being in the top 25 is something special. So let me continue their special season here. Get us to 9 wins. And the Beavs crush Oregon's dreams of getting to the Pac-12 championship game. If Oregon loses and Washington wins, Washington would be in. Washington also has to hope for a UCLA or a Utah loss to get in as well. If Oregon loses, Utah wins, Washington wins, and UCLA wins, Utah would get in then as well. And Oregon can still get in if Washington loses, however. The total for this game is 59 here. I am rolling with the under. I think the Beavers defense stops Bo Nix, halts that offense, and the Beavs get it done at home, win the Civil War here. Play upset special. 3:30 on ABC. Number 21, Oregon State, by the way. My bad. Illinois at Northwestern. If anyone didn't know, Illinois is still in the running for the Big Ten West. So how can the Illini get to Indianapolis? They need an Iowa loss. Iowa just scored. They are currently down 24-7. 8:32 to go in the third quarter. They need a Purdue loss. Purdue plays at Indiana tomorrow, and they need a win here against Northwestern. We think they'll get it done behind Chase Brown and that rushing attack that almost beat Michigan last week. So Illinois keeps its hopes alive for a little bit. They will know if their hopes are alive by the end of today. With 23-32 left to go in that Iowa game. They're big Cornhusker fans right now. So over under is 38 in this game. I'm going to roll with the over 330. No network attached. Kind of weird on that one. This was the other game I mentioned, Purdue at Indiana. Purdue will know whether it has a chance to win the Big Ten West or not in by tomorrow, by the game, this kickoff here. They need a Iowa loss, and they need to win this game. That is how they get in. Want to note also, Iowa still can suffer a loss here today, but they would need a lot of help, Purdue and Illinois, both to lose against Northwestern and Indiana there, in order for the Hawkeyes to get there with a loss today. The over-under for this one is 53.5. We all think Purdue, the Boilermakers, are going to get it done. And 53.5, I'm going to roll with the under. Indiana doesn't give enough points to get that over that. 3:30 Big Ten Network. ACC matchup should be a good one. Wake Forest at Duke. We are all on the Demon Deacons. I think Sam Hartman has a nice game again in this one, just like Keaton Slovis did against the Blue Devils. It's at home, but I just think that Wake Forest gets it done here, and Duke drops another one to an ACC foe like they did against Pitt last week. Over under 66.5. Wake Forest really doesn't have a defense, so why not hit the over button? But I think maybe just under 65 in that one. 3:30 ACC Network. Troy at Arkansas State. Mentioned this game earlier. Troy, it's a win and in scenario. They win the Sun Belt West. If they win, South Alabama needs a Troy loss, and they need to beat Old Dominion to get in themselves. But I think the Trojans are on pace for destiny here. And I think they get in. They beat you at Arkansas State on the road. 13.5-point favorites are the Trojans there. They get it done, cover that spread as well. Gunnar Watson and co. and Kimani Vidal, their running back, also has a nice game. The over-under for this one, 45.5. Give me the over. I think Arkansas State maybe helps us just enough to get that one over there. This one's 3:30 on ESPNU. UAB at Louisiana Tech. The Blazers. They do not have any Conference USA implications, but they do have bowl berth on the line, trying to get bowl eligible, win their 6th this season. And we all think they will. Louisiana Tech's struggling right now, and the Blazers should be able to get it done behind their running back, Dwayne McBride. So give us the Blazers here on the road. Maybe they don't cover that 17.5. That's a lot of points for them. But I think UAB becomes bowl eligible here tomorrow. Over-under is 55.5. Give me the over. I like that there. And this one's 3:30 on CBS Sportsnet. The Battle of Texas branch campuses. UTEP, that UTSA, University of Texas El Paso versus University of Texas San Antonio. The Miners versus the Roadrunners. UTEP looking to get bowl eligible on the road in the Alamo Dome. I don't think that's going to happen. UTSA has been a beast this year. Frank Harris, DeCorian Corley, and Zachary Franklin as well. Brendan Brady at running back. They have been on fire. And so are the Penguins, who just went up 2-0 with 30.5 seconds to go in the first period. But, you know, the Roadrunners, I think, are going to handle their business here, shut UTEP season down, and get prepped for their Conference USA Championship game next week against either North Texas or Western Kentucky, rematch there from last year. Over-under is 56.5. Give me the over in that one. 3:30, no network. Got to stream it. Big 12 matchup, Iowa State at number 4, TCU. The Horned Frogs getting 10 points at home. They are looking to go undefeated into the Big 12 championship game next week. Iowa State, not much to play for, trying to get to 5-7 there. My roommate said Iowa State does play TCU rather hard every year. So we shall see how this game goes. It's in Fort Worth, though. I don't think Iowa State's going to have enough on offense behind Hunter Deckers there. But yeah, the Horned Frogs are probably going to win close. The Iowa State will probably cover that spread because their defense will play very well. But I just think TCU is a team of destiny right now. They're going to get it done and then lose in the Big 12 championship game. Over-under is 47.5. I have to think it's going to go over with the TCU game. So over 47.5, 4 p.m. on Fox. Battle for the Land-Grant Trophy, Michigan State at number 11, Penn State. Penn State trying to avenge their loss last year in East Lansing in the snow behind Kenneth Walker's great performance. Mel Tucker's program trying to become bowl eligible this year. Not going to happen in Happy Valley. Penn State on a run. James Franklin trying to get his program to 10 wins, possible top 10 college football playoff finish there, and get to a New Year's Six bowl. So give me Penn State. Give me my boys at home. Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen, and co. Get the running game going, and they win this one. Maybe not by 19, but we shall see. They've blown out pretty much everyone except for their 2 losses to Ohio State and Michigan. Over-under is 53. Got to think that's going to go over with how Penn State's been rolling. 4 p.m. on FS1. Number 14, Utah at Colorado. The Utes, like I said, still do have life. They need a lot of help, though. They need a win. And Oregon lost, and wins from Washington and UCLA, all to get into the Pac-12 championship game against USC. So we think they'll win and win rather easily in this one. Again, both Colorado State, the two FBS schools in the state of Colorado, are not very good. So I think Utah rolls. Cam Rising and Tavion Thomas have nice days in this game. Over under is 52. Give me the over. 4 p.m. Pac-12 Network. Southern Miss at UL Monroe. The Golden Eagles trying to become bowl eligible, and I think they will. I think they will beat Ole Miss rather handily, even while on the road in Monroe, Louisiana. I think Southern Miss is going to run behind Frank Gore Jr., and he has done it all. Ran, caught, and passed the ball this year for Southern Miss, and I think they go behind him again and get them to a bowl game here this season. Southern Miss, 3-point favorites there. Like I said, I think they cover that. Over under is 50.5. Give me the under. Lower scoring game. I think it's in the 40s though. And give me under 50.5. That one's 5 p.m. ESPN Plus. The other Louisiana branch campus here, Louisiana at Texas State. The Raging Cajuns also trying to become bowl eligible, just like Southern Miss. This one, I don't know why. I have a gut feeling, just like I did again with the Rice game against UNT. The Bobcats at home, I just have a gut feeling Louisiana's not the team that they have been. They Ben Woolridge was injured and he didn't play last week. So I just think the Bobcats are going to get it done behind Lane Hatcher and co. So give me Texas State, lone wolfing the Bobcats here. Over under is 45, and give me the under in that game. Also 5 p.m. also on ESPN Plus. Sunbelt matchup: App State at Georgia Southern. The Eagles trying to become bowl eligible. I think they get there. I'm the only one that thinks that. They are going to get to a bowl game. Again, just like Louisiana, App State has not been themselves this year. Tough season for the Mountaineers. So I'm just going to go with Georgia Southern, a team that has looked pretty decent this year. Big win over James Madison a while back. And I think they get this big win as well, get to a bowl game, do the Georgia Southern Eagles. Over under 62.5. I'm going to roll with the under in that game. I think the Southern defense plays well, Chase Bryce over a time or two, and they get the win here. 6 p.m. ESPN Plus. Number 5, LSU, 10-point favorites at Texas A&M and College Station. No one wanted to try to pick Jimbo Fisher in a really down year for him. But LSU's on a roll. They are trying to get to 10 wins to get to the SEC championship game here. Roll in 10 wins to the SEC championship, I should say. Already set in stone that's who is going to be there. But LSU, Jaden Daniels and co should have a nice day. Maybe a little bit tougher. They played Arkansas close, and also A&M's defense is still A&M's defense, so I wouldn't be surprised this one's close and A&M covers that 10. But give us LSU on the road. They get 10 wins, roll into the SEC championship game. Over under is 47.5. I'm going to go with the under. And 7 p.m. ESPN. The war on I-4 here. Number 22, UCF at USF, Central Florida versus South Florida. Has not been much of a war lately. UCF besting USF on quite a few occasions. USF really terrible season right now, 1-10. UCF coming off a tough loss last week against Navy. They need a win to get into the American Championship game, and a Houston loss as well. So if they do lose, though, they can have a Houston loss. and or if they lose, if they win and Houston wins, then it becomes a whole shebang. Like I said earlier, that I don't know how to figure out right now. So we'll see what happens if that occurs. But I don't think UCF is going to lose and give Cincinnati any hope to get into the American Championship game. I think they're going to win and get into that game by themselves there. Over under is 68. I am rolling with the under. I do not think USF's going to get enough offense to get that over the number there. This one's 7 p.m. on ESPN2. Number 15, Notre Dame at number 6, USC. What a battle we will have in Southern California tomorrow night. USC already in the Pac-12 championship game, trying to strengthen their college football playoff record and resume potentially with this win and a win in the Pac-12 championship game. I think, like Logan and Mark do as well, that they will get it done. Caleb Williams is on track to win the Heisman, and USC Lincoln Riley get it done over a surging Notre Dame team here in Southern Cal. Over under 64.5. Have to believe that goes under with how the Notre Dame defense has been playing. 7:30 ABC. Number 10, Tennessee at Vanderbilt. Yes, this one's in Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, I put the V up there. Why not? Vanderbilt getting to a bowl game in Clark Lee's second season in Nashville there. Tennessee upset by South Carolina last week. Really killed their chances at getting to the college football playoff if someone slips up. But the reason I think Vandy is I don't believe one bit in Joe Milton III to beat Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt is on a roll. They've won 2 straight SEC games for the first time in quite a while after breaking their 26-game losing streak in the SEC 2 weeks ago. So why not the Commodores to a bowl game? Give me Vandy at home over number 10 Tennessee. Probably would be the biggest win in program history, I'd have to think. Over under is 64, and I'm fine with taking the over in that game. 7:30 SEC Network. Tulsa at Houston. Again, this game comes into play with a UCF win and a Houston loss. UCF gets in outright. With a UCF win and a Houston win, then it becomes an interesting scenario where UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati all tied at the same point there, and then it becomes some complicated mess. If Houston loses after UCF loses, this would put Cincinnati into the AAC championship game in a rematch against Tulane next week. But again, this game only comes into play really if Houston loses. Or if they win and UCF wins, whatever. But yeah, we all think the Cougars are going to win at home. Clayton Tune and co. Got a massive win over ECU last week, a game where we all picked the Pirates. They blew them out 42-3 in East Carolina. So give us the Cougars in this one. Tulsa, nothing to play for at 4-7. So Houston gets to 8-4 for Dana Holgerson. Over under 67. And I'm going with the over, actually. I like this as a high scoring game. Davis Brennan Co. for Tulsa. 7:30 ESPNU. The Sunflower Showdown, Kansas at number 12, Kansas State. Texas will be watching this game intently, praying for a Kansas win in Manhattan. Number 12, Kansas State. I think we all do. We all think they will win and crush Texas's Big 12 dreams. But yeah, this game has Big 12 implications, win or loss for Kansas State. and Texas there. So, but we're all going with the Wildcats at home. I think that's a good pick for us. The over-under for this game is 62.5. I'm going to go with the over. Why not? A lot of offense here at nighttime in Manhattan, Kansas. 8 p.m. on Fox. Fox After Dark. Pitt at Miami. Good ACC matchup here. The Canes trying to get to a bowl. But the way the Pitt's been playing, I don't think they are going to let that happen, even in Miami. Keaton Slovis has been playing very well. Israel Abanikanda has been a beast, as he has been all year pretty much. And we're all on the Pitt Panthers in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium. So sorry, Canes, but you are not going bowling this year. Over under is 43. I have to think that goes over with how the Pitt offense has been playing. 8 p.m. ACC Network. Air Force at San Diego State. Logan, lone wolfing the Aztecs at home. I think this is going to be a great game. Air Force, though, I'm rolling with my boy Brad Roberts. I love Brad Roberts, the big fullback / running back for Air Force. Hazik Daniels also is a really great triple option quarterback there. And Emmanuel Michel as well, their running back there for the Falcons. Aztecs, I just don't see it happening. Even at home, I think Air Force is the better team defensively as well. I think they'll be able to stop Jaden Mabin, I believe is the quarterback for San Diego State, and get this thing done on the road. Air Force gets the 9 wins, gets a good bowl. Over-under is also 43 in this one. I'm going to roll with the under. Air Force defense and the Air Force offense keeps the time of possession, very long drives here, kills the clock. 9 p.m. CBS Sportsnet. The Apple Cup, number 13, Washington at Washington State. Yeah, we're all on the Huskies here. They still are alive for the Pac-12 championship game. Granted, they will know their fate, whether this game means anything in terms of Pac-12 play. Obviously, it means a lot, being that it's a rivalry game and a trophy game. But whether it means even more in terms of the Pac-12 championship, they will know that as this game is the last game of the night for us. Anyways, there is, I believe, one more game after this on the schedule. But Washington needs some help. They need a win, an Oregon loss, and either a UCLA or a Utah loss to get into the Pac-12 championship game. So feasible. Oregon at Oregon State, UCLA losing to Cal currently 21-17 at halftime. And then Utah, that's a tough loss to ask from them at Colorado, but you never know what could happen. So over-under is 60. I'm going to over. There should be a ton of points here. Michael Penix Jr. versus Cameron Ward. 10:30 on ESPN is this game. How about the FCS playoffs? Unfortunately, we didn't get Logan's picks in here. We'll get them updated for the standings next week. But Elon at Furman, all the first-round matchups unranked or unseeded. The only seeds are the top 8, which all get buys this week. So Elon at Furman. It's a split right now. Let's see who Logan picks, but I am rolling with the Phoenix. I just think they are a better team than Furman right now. They got me a good win earlier in the season when we had their game as our FCS game of the week, and they have good wins over. They beat Delaware. They lost to New Hampshire, who's a playoff team. They lost to Rhode Island as well. Furman is on a big win streak. They beat Mark's team 47-40. They beat Chattanooga and Mercer as well. Close games there. But I just think Elon with Mike McKay there at quarterback, or Matthew McKay, 21-4 touchdown interception ratio. They have 1,000-yard running back in Jalen Hampton. And I just think they're going to get the job done in a close game, though, in Greenville, South Carolina at Paladin Stadium there. Mark's on the Paladins, though, supporting his fellow conference opponent there. St. Francis, Pennsylvania at Delaware. The Red Flash against the Blue Hens here. Yeah, I'm rolling with my Blue Hens here. Unfortunately, I'm going against the Pennsylvania team, but I just think Nolan Henderson is a beast. 28-8 touchdown interception ratio. He is really the main reason. I don't know too much about St. Francis. Haven't really covered them too much, but yeah, I love Delaware here. They got big wins. They've lost 3 out of the last 4 to end the season to playoff teams, Elon and Richmond, and non-playoff team Villanova. But they got a big win over Monmouth, and I think Delaware has enough. They are in a tougher conference in the CAA than St. Francis is in the NEC Northeast Conference there. They did get a good win against Duquesne and Merrimack and Sacred Heart, but not good enough, I don't think, to go into Delaware and beat the Blue Hens. I forgot to mention Elon game, 12 p.m. ESPN Plus. Unfortunately, we don't have spreads or totals for these games yet. They'll come out tomorrow, but this game is at 2 p.m. on ESPN Plus as well. Fordham at New Hampshire. This one was a toss-up for me. I like the Fordham Rams. Reason being, they got big wins over Colgate and Lafayette there. New Hampshire, they beat Rhode Island. They lost to playoff team Richmond, and they beat Elon. So good wins against them. Also big win against Dartmouth, 14-0 as well. I just think Fordham, when you look at their guys here, their quarterback, Tim DeMoret there, 4,561 passing yards, 53 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Just crazy production for him. Their number 1 wide receiver, Fotis Kokosiolis, 1,222 receiving yards, 90 receptions, 15 touchdowns. That is just ridiculous production in 11 games. They have just absolutely rolled people, and they barely lost in their 2 losses, losing to FBS Ohio 59-52. And then they lost in overtime by 1 point to Holy Cross 53-52. So 52 points in both of their losses, and just defense couldn't hold up in those ones. But every other game they've scored at least 40 points in every single game this season, which is just crazy production. And I mean, DeMora here, he has his lowest passing performance was 256 yards. Every other game, he's thrown for at least 346 yards. So, yeah, I think that this offense is gonna push the New Hampshire Wildcats here, and the Rams get the win on the road. Mark's going with the Wildcats there at home. Don't blame him. They're a pretty good program in their own right, but I'm rolling with the Rams. Logan will be the tiebreaker there, just like with the Elon game. 2 p.m. ESPN Plus. Davidson at Richmond. Probably Logan is gonna go with Richmond as well. But reason being, again, it's a quarterback, Reese Udinsky, for the Spiders here. Great production this year in his last year, 3,150 passing yards, 24-4 touchdown interception ratio. Triple option coming in for Davidson. So I don't know if that's going to work against Richmond. They lost to San Diego, had a good win against Stetson in double overtime, and a good win against Dayton last week. But Richmond, they lost to William and Mary by 2 scores last week. But other than that, they had good wins against Delaware, and New Hampshire in their last 5 games. So I think the Spiders get it done and move on to the Sweet 16 of the FCS playoffs next week. This one's 2 p.m. ESPN Plus. North Dakota at Weber State. Mark and I both on the Wildcats here. North Dakota just has not been a great program this year. Tommy Schuster, decent statistics, and Hoosman, the running back, as well, scoring 12 touchdowns. But I really like Bronson Barron here for Weber State, 19-7 touchdown interception ratio, 2,337 passing yards. And then their wide receiver is just a beast. Ty McPherson, 52 catches, 917 yards, and 10 receiving touchdowns. And Weber has gotten good wins. They got a good win over Montana, losing to Montana State and Sacramento State, their 2 losses to top 4 FCS teams. Montana State ending up 4th, and Sacramento State 2nd. They lost that game by 3. So really great losses for them. And in terms of North Dakota, they just got blown out by North Dakota State last week by 21 in a game that they were in for a majority of the game. They also got blown out by 14 against South Dakota State. So yeah, I just think Weber State has been the better team, and they're going to get it done in this game. 4 p.m. on ESPN Plus. How about Gardner Webb at Eastern Kentucky? We are both on the Colonels, are Mark and I. The Bulldogs struggling at 6-5 this year, getting into the playoffs primarily because they won the Big South Conference, going 5-0 there over North Carolina A&T, who had a better overall record. But yeah, that was their last game. They blew NC A&T out. Not really many good performances other than a 1-point loss to Liberty was a very good performance for them in a surprising output there. They also had close losses to Coastal Carolina by 4 and Elon by 6 as well, but they got blown out by Mercer, blown out by Marshall as well. So I just don't think they're going to have enough offense to get it done over Eastern Kentucky, whose quarterback, Parker McKinney, has done a great job. 3,502 passing yards, 28-7 touchdown interception ratio. And I think he's the big reason why they get this one done at home in Richmond, Kentucky, there at Roy Kidd Stadium. This one is at 5 p.m. ESPN Plus. Idaho at Southeastern Louisiana. SLU, or I used to, what their name was before that, SELA. The Golden Lions there against the Vandals. I'm rolling with Idaho. Look, you know, I have not known Idaho to be very good, and this year they have been good. Got a massive win over Idaho State last week. Close loss to Sacramento State, and unfortunately they did get blown out by UC Davis, who's not having that great of a season. But the close loss to Sacramento State is really what I put this game on. This was a coin flip for me. And Southeastern Louisiana, however, has not really played very many people. They did get a good win against Jacksonville State. But I'm rolling with their quarterback, Giovanni McCoy, who's thrown for 2,392 yards, 25-5 touchdown interception ratio. SELA's used 2 quarterbacks this year after their starter went down with injury. Evan Sawyer has done a nice job, or Eli Sawyer, I should say. 1,605 yards, 11-1 touchdown interception ratio. But I am rolling with the Vandals in this game. Go Idaho. This one is at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. And then finally here, Southeast Missouri State, SEMO at Montana. Mark and I both on the Grizz. I just think it's because the Grizz play in a better conference, the MVFC, Missouri Valley Football Conference. And the Grizz, Lucas Johnson, has done a good job. But this one was really, really close for me. And despite SEMO's running back Geno Hess rushing for over 1,569 yards, 19 rushing touchdowns. I have to go with Montana. Their 4 losses were to the Big Four in the conference there. In the Big Sky, I should say, not the NBFC. The Big Sky, Idaho, Sacramento State, Weber State, and Montana State. All close losses as well, except for the Montana State game last week, where they got blown out by 34. But they lost to Idaho by 7, lost in overtime at Sacramento State by 7, and then they lost to at Weber State by 3. So I think those losses were very key to them getting in the playoffs. SEMO really doesn't have that great of performances. They lost to Eastern Kentucky. Good win against Murray State last week, but I'm a roll with the more galvanized team right now. So give me the Grizz in this game. This one's late, 10 p.m., but it's on national TV, ESPN2. NFL pick standings. Yeah, Mark and Logan tying once again. Both at 8-4. Mark stays 5 games back of Logan. I lost a game, 2 of them again. So I am now 13 back of Logan, 8 back of Mark. Not going to have a chance to win this one this year. But I went 0-1 in my lone wolves last week. I picked Steelers. They lost by 7 to the Bengals. Mark went 2-2 in his. He got the Falcons right. They beat the Bears. Got the Patriots right. They walked off with Marcus Jones against the Jets. And then he lost the Rams, who lost to the Cardinals, I believe, was that game last week. The Saints. Rams lost to the Saints, and he got the Vikings wrong. They got completely annihilated by the Cowboys, 40-3. So this week, Broncos at the Panthers. Yeah, I'm rolling with Sam Darnold back to being the starter this week, and I just think that he can get it done. DJ Moore has had his best production with Sam Darnold at quarterback, and I think that's what's going to happen, even against the strong Denver secondary. I think the Panthers can get it done and try to, salvage a little bit from their season if they can, with Steve Wilkes as the interim head coach. 1 point for the Broncos, though, so it should be a good close game there. Over-under is 36. I do like the under in that game. Both defenses are playing very well despite their records. So give me the Panthers and the under. Bucks at the Browns. We're all on Tampa Bay. Cleveland has been playing very closely to most of their opponents this year, but the Bucks are surging. They have won, I believe, 3 in a row to get back to 500, and Tom Brady is hitting stride at the right time. And I think the Bucks, behind Brady and Rashad White there at running back, get it done in Cleveland. Over-under is 42.5, and I'm going to go with the over in that game, I think. Just to update you on some scores, Arizona has come back and beaten Arizona State in the Battle of Arizona. They were down 21-17, came back, and they were down 35-31 actually in the fourth quarter. Scored that game-winning touchdown with 8:53 to go. Held the lead for that one. And then I mentioned Colorado State sucks, but so does New Mexico. Colorado State shutting out New Mexico. The Rams winning 17-0 at home to finish their season 3-9, push the Lobos to 2-10 on the year. NC State at number 17, UNC. They are in a battle. 5:51 to go in the fourth. NC State about to punt the ball away to North Carolina. They are tied at 17. Great battle there. Also a really good game. Missouri, I believe, is about to win the game here, 29-27 over Arkansas. 1:12 to go in the fourth quarter there. Nebraska holding a steady lead still, 24-7 over Iowa. Iowa driving, though, try to make this a 2-score game in Iowa City. And then number 18, UCLA, they just took the lead over Cal, 24-21, 7:06 to go in the third, 9:34 to go in the fourth for the Iowa game. Bengals at the Titans. Mark lone wolfing the Bengals on the road. Logan and I think the reason being for the Titans, they looked really good against the Packers last Thursday. Long rest for them. Derrick Henry comes out. The Bengals have been susceptible to the run, as noted by Najee Harris's 90 yards last week. And I think that they give up a lot of run to Derrick Henry. Hopefully Samaje Perine plays well for my fantasy team. But give me Tennessee in Tennessee there. Over-under is 43.5. I think this one goes over on that one. List of players out this week that I haven't mentioned yet. Ravens offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley. Jets defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins. Bucks wide receiver Russell Gage. Browns corner Greg Newsome. Titans defensive tackle Danico Autry. Texans corner Derek Stingley. Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler. Commanders defensive tackle Matt Ioannidis. Cardinals wide receiver Rondale Moore and corner Byron Murphy. And then Packers wide receiver Romeo Doubs also ruled out already. Texans at the Dolphins. Kyle Allen starting under center for Houston. Yeah, again, I don't think it matters who starts under center for the Texans. They're not going to win. They're not going to beat the Dolphins in Miami. And, I just think that the Dolphins are a lot better team. They're on a good run right now, trying to keep pace with Buffalo in the AFC East, retake the lead in that division by divisional record. Don't know if they're going to cover that 14, but we shall see. The over-under here is 47. Give me the under. I think the Dolphins defense keeps it lower scoring than 47. Bears at the Jets. Mark again, lone wolfing here. The lone wolfing the Bears. Mike White starting at quarterback for New York. Possibly different quarterback for Chicago as well. We don't know the status of Justin Fields just yet, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Logan and I are on the Jets. Look, their defense has played very well. The Bears defense has given up a lot of rushing yards, and I think that's where you'll see Michael Carter come into play this week. And maybe Mike White gives them a boost here, and the Robert Saleh-led Jets continue to their playoff push. Especially with the Patriots loss, they'll keep their third place spot there in the AFC East. So they can get a game up on the Patriots in the wild card race if they can get this win at home here. The over-under is 38.5. I am going to go with the over in this game. Falcons at the Commanders. We are all on Washington. Taylor Heineke has been on a tear. So I just think that he continues to do that. And the Falcons, this should be a very good game. I was close to picking Atlanta, trying to get them to 500 on the season. But I think Washington at home is going to be too much, especially on defense, especially if Chase Young comes back. But I think Heineke and that offense are really the biggest reason, and they'll be able to run the ball with Robinson and Gibson against that Falcons defense. Over-under is 40.5. Give me the over in that game. Ravens at the Jags. Logan lone wolfing the Jags in Jacksonville. I'm writing a paper to relocate the Jags to Salt Lake City right now, so I cannot pick the Jags. I also just think the Ravens are the better team. Getting Marcus Williams back potentially this week at safety will help immensely against Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones, and co. in that Jacksonville passing attack. And I think I'm going to go with the Ravens as well because Gus Edwards should be back. Keep that running game rolling against the Jags defense. Over under is 43.5. I'd like the over in that game. 405 games here. Chargers trying to get above 500 at the Cardinals. We are all on the lightning bolts despite Kyler Murray coming back. I do think the Cardinals will have an edge with James Conner and that rushing attack. Again, the Chargers defense is just terrible against the run. But I think it'll be a close game. Chargers get the win though in Arizona and get above 500 on the season there. Try to get into that wild card race. Over under is 48. Give me the over. I like the offenses in this game. Raiders at the Seahawks. We're all on Seattle, the Fighting John Babingtons, as I like to call them. Shout out to our guy John there. But yeah, the Seahawks should rebound nicely from their bye week and come in healthy. Tyler Lockett should be rested up, as should Kenneth Walker. And Geno Smith should get this offense rolling again against the Raiders defense. It's not very good outside of Max Crosby. But the over-under here is 47.5. And I think they're going to quell DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Smith, I should say. Devontae Adams. God, I'm having issues right now. But Devontae Adams should have a tough day against this secondary. So I am going to roll with the under in this game. Maybe not over. Sure, why not? Rams. This is 425 games. Rams at the Chiefs. Yeah, we're all in Kansas City. Bryce Perkins is not going to get it done in Kansas City. If this one was in LA, possibly, but I just do not think they're going to have enough offense to hold up against the Chiefs. Even without a couple guys there at receiver for Kansas City. Should run Isaiah Pacheco a lot in this game, away from Aaron Donald, please, and get him a lot of fantasy points there. Over under is 42. Give me the under. Chiefs win big, but Rams don't score enough to help the over. Saints at the 49ers. Again, this is another one where it's like a really good team right now against a so-so team, but I am gonna roll with the Niners, as is Logan and Mark. So they're rolling right now, and I don't think anything's gonna change coming back home from Mexico City and against the Saints team that's just, again, like I said, so-so. They're middle of the pack right now, and I don't think they're gonna have enough to keep up with the Niners. Over under is 43. How about go the over in this one? San Fran scores a lot on offense currently, so Saints give us just enough to get over that. Sunday Night Football, the Packers at the Eagles. We're all on the birds here. I don't like to see that, but Logan betraying his own team, going with the Eagles in Philly. I told people Philly's a different place when it's at night in prime time. The Eagles are debuting their black helmets with their black jerseys and black pants. It'll be a blackout in Philly. So love to see that. I can't wait. And should be a nice win for Philly in a bounce back effort again after a close game in Indy last week. Over under is 46.5. I am going to roll with the over in that game. Update on scores here. NC State has just taken a 7-point lead over number 17, North Carolina into NC State territory with that last play, though. 3:43 to go in the fourth quarter at the NC State 42-yard line. Iowa has scored to make it a 10-point game against Nebraska, 6:49 to go in the fourth quarter, 2nd and 8 for the Huskers on their own 27-yard line. And again, number 18, UCLA continues to lead over Cal 24-21, 3:46 to go in the third quarter, 1st and 10 on the Bruins 12-yard line. Best bets of the week. Last week went 2-1, finally over 500, 15, 14, and 4. The Bears plus 3.5. They got it done last week, covered by the hook. The Giants, they lost outright against the Lions. I had them -3. And the Commanders won by 20, so they covered -3 at the Texans. This week, I'm going with the Bucks -3.5 at the Browns. I think they'll get that done. The Cleveland defense has been susceptible to the run, so give me Rachaad White rushing yards in that one. And Greg Newsome out for them, so Brady should have a decent day through the air as well. The Falcons +4 at the Commanders. Like I said, I think that's going to be a really close game. Possibly could come down to a field goal. I do like the Commanders to win that, but I like the Falcons to cover, which they've been doing for the majority of the year. And then finally, the Chargers -3 at the Cardinals. I think that's going to be a close game as well, but I think at the very worst, they should push that 3 and get that one done in Arizona. NFL lock standings, we all went 1-0. Again, I'm finally over 500, 6-5 for me, 8-3 for Logan, 9-2 sterling record for Mark there. Logan still 1 back from Mark. I am 3 back of him in that regard. Last week, Mark got the Commanders right over the Texans. I got the Chiefs right over the Chargers. And the Bills got it done over the Browns for Logan. This week, Logan likes the Bucks. Like I said, I have that as one of my best bets of the week, -3.5 at the Browns. So he is rolling with Tom Brady and co. on the road in Cleveland. Like that selection. I'm rolling with the opposite of the game last week. Picked the Chiefs to beat the Chargers. Now I'm picking the Chargers to beat the Cardinals. So I really like Justin Herbert and that offense against the Cardinals defense. Should try to bulk up against that run offense for Arizona, but I think they'll win that shootout there in Arizona. And then Mark's going with the 49ers over the Saints. I do like that one as well. Mark's going the route of Logan last week, getting the lock in by 0.5 point, as we can't pick locks that are double-digit favorites. So 9.5 there for San Francisco. Lucky Mark. Dog standings, not a good week for us. Luckily for me, I went 0-1-1, not 0-2. So I have a push just like Logan has this week. Mark's got to get a push now so we can all have one. But yeah, last week I went 0-1-1. Bears +3. I don't know how I had +3 for my dog and +3.5 for the best bets. I didn't want to cheat, so I wrote down what I scored, what I had written on the PowerPoint from last week. So +3, that was a push against the Falcons. So that gets me to 15, 16-1 because the Bears lost outright. Logan, unfortunately for him, he had the Vikings +1.5 against the Dallas. They lost by a lot more than 1.5. They lost by 37 to be exact, losing 40-3. And then Mark, he lost his. He had the Rams +3 against the Saints. They lost by 7. So Mark is still toiling down there at 6-16. He is 9.5 games back of myself. Now it's a little bit easier to calculate the distance between Logan and I. Logan is 4 games back from me. I am 15, 16-1. Logan 11, 10-1. Just staying above the water, above 500 there is Logan. Dogs this week, Logan, Lone Wolf and the Jags. I don't like that pick, +4 against the Ravens at home. I like Baltimore, so I don't like his pick there. And what's new? The Penguins scoring against the Flyers, 4-0 Pittsburgh. I am rolling with the Titans +3 against the Bengals. I know Logan was picking the Titans with me as well. Mark, Lone Wolf and the baby Bengals at home. But I just think Derrick Henry's going to run through that defense. They're going to use the play action like they did against Green Bay last week effectively, and the Titans will get the win in that one. And then Mark is rolling with the Bears +6 at the Jets, the only dog that he picked this week out of all the picks. So he is rolling with Justin Fields, possibly, if he does play, questionable officially. But +6, that's a good number. I do think they'll be able to cover that. I just, Logan and I picked the Jets, so don't think the Bears are going to win there. And before I get to next week, how about Iowa? 45-yard field goal. They are within 7 with 5:41 to go. North Carolina driving right now, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 5 on the NC State 13-yard line, 50 seconds to go. North Carolina has all 3 timeouts. Great game coming down to the wire there in Chapel Hill. But next week, we'll be back talking NFL Week 13 kickoff between the Bills and the Patriots. Week 12 wrap up with the Steelers and Colts on Monday Night Football. We'll get you caught up with those 2 games as well as all college action in between shows. And we'll preview the NCAA and NFL games for the weekend. It's Championship Saturday next week in college football, and Week 13 NFL as well. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. At FAA_bets is our betting account on Twitter as well. FAApodcast.com is our website. Check us out there to look at our new Thanksgiving merch. You can still get the 20% off, I believe it is, through the end of the month here. And then don't forget to follow us on all our social media there. And then here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. Go Team USA on Tuesday. We'll be back on Tuesday, actually, as I will be flying out on Monday night back to Milwaukee, so I will not be available for that show. But yeah, catch us back.